Hey, welcome to game three. Um, this is the game. This is one of the games I was looking forward to uploading. When I built this Leela deck, I had in mind tough opponents. In particular, I think Blue Sun. Um, I I built this deck to be as fast as possible. In the previous game, game one, I didn't really see the key cards that I wanted out of it. I kind of just snuck out a win, which is fine. But when you're building a deck, building a deck is very different from playing, for sure. And I wanted to see um, some of the combos come out, and I think this game demonstrates some of them. So I'm looking forward to showing off this game, especially since I don't know. I always get excited for new IDs, even when they're spoiled. People have long time when Leela was first spoiled, people were somewhat pessimistic about her. People were very excited for Nasir. People were very excited for all the Corp IDs that were spoiled in the Lunar Cycle. But Leela Patel was quietly not. There weren't that many enthusiastic players. Long-term criminal players very much like Gabe and very much like Andromeda for good reason. They're very consistent, very strong abilities. The first turn makes a huge difference in your setup. Um, so when Leela came out and she has ability that triggers when you're losing the game, people were not real enthusiastic about it. Another way to look at it would be to say, well, it's an ability that only really triggers maybe 5 times a game on average, if you're lucky. Um, Maybe more than that if it's small one-pointers, but if your opponent's playing two or three-pointers, you're not going to see a lot of opportunities to trigger ability. I think this game and a lot of Leela games, especially right after she's come out and players haven't really learned to play around her yet, she really demonstrates some of the strengths of scoring windows. She blows them wide open. You have to be ready for the next turn, not just the current turn, for what happens after a scoring window. So I think there's a lot of interesting things going on with her ID. Anyway, I think I call Sure Gamble hedge fund, whatever. John Masanori is one of my favorites. There's a wide open HQ. I don't think there's any agendas. I think he's sitting on 0 agendas in HQ, especially since I have Sol and Ice. But you never know. Sometimes they sneak through. After I see the Hadrians in HQ, I decide there's no agendas in there. So you can see in my grip, I got 3 keyholes. You can kind of have a guess of what I have up my sleeve. The pace of this game is a little bit faster than the previous one. This is one of the more experienced players I've had the pleasure of playing against for a number of weeks. Blue Sun really counts on one particular card, and that card is Oversight AI. If you don't get it early in the game, you really stall out. And sometimes that's what happens. Here I install Keyhole, but I run HQ anyway. I'm trying to get him to spend credits that he might be saving on R&D. I see Chrysium Grid. I have enough to trash it, but I choose not to. That may have been a mistake. I don't feel like I'm quite ready for a keyhole run because I don't know what's over R&D. I toss one of my keyholes out. I've got more. I think Steven is really looking for that oversight AI, and he's not getting it. Now, I've broadcasted my plan, so no surprise putting ice over archives. One of the downsides of Keyhole is that it's a little hard to capitalize after it's installed. I do see my Desperado though. I've played many games with Leela counting on the MU from Desperado, and I didn't see it. I only have 2 copies of the core, so I only have 2 copies of Desperado. John Masanori is built to abuse remotes or archives if it's left open. Well, it seems like a lot more assets have been played lately, so he's not a bad include. If you're only seeing Iceberg style 2 or 3 ice deep on all servers decks, then he's not for you. But if people want to leave open servers for you, and you don't mind playing a little risky with tags, then he can perform quite well for you. I like him a lot in Criminal. I'm looking for more of my rig, I think, before I feel comfortable with keyholing. I don't really want to take a tag against Wayland. And I'm a little nervous about which cards to pull out for this. I choose Corroder, I think, expecting to see a lot of Hadrian's Wall, which I already saw in HQ, and especially Curtain Wall. Blue Sun's definitely running Curtain Wall. So I need to have the Corroder on the table. And here I take a good long time of deciding if I want to install it, and I finally do. I think. No, I keep it in my grip. Alright. Oh well. The dream is real. The Chrysium grid goes up. Machine no sheen. And an off the grid. This is the dream combo. Here it comes. He's got a 3 over advanced off the grid server. He can pull it back as Blue Sun. He can pull back Chrysium grid too if he wants. He's got an ice over HQ. I think all I've got is a fairy. I'm locked down. If I do try to make a run on it, on HQ, he's gonna bounce me off. I'm gonna take a tag, and he's gonna get a 5-3 or an over advanced Vitruvius, and that'll be pretty much the game. I can't keep up with his pace economically without making runs, and the moment you make a run, you open yourself open to damage. So here I am, puzzling. Well, it's a good thing I'm criminal. Other factions can't pull out the last minute shenanigans that criminal can. Click 1, I take your credit. Click 2, I run. He doesn't res. So I trash Chrysium Good growing broke. And I figure, well, Maybe I can pull this off. He's got 5 credits. I don't think he can res it.
I will account siphon.
So there we go. Click 3 account siphon.
No res. Trash and
I clean him out. I feel perfectly safe floating tags with a broke
credits.
corp.
Click 4, I'll run the remote.
And I run the remote.
Alright.
Over advanced Atlas. Oh, feels pretty good.
The inner ice on R&D.
And here comes the Leela combo. I pull out the inner ice. I don't know which one it was, but if it's a spatially oriented ice, I don't want the one on the outside pulled out. I do recoup the credits that I should have gained from Desperado. I am very forgetful about credits from Desperado. But I am floating 2 tags too. And here is kind of the wide open gap that Keyhole opens to you. I'm sorry, Leela opens to you. He's now got 1 ice less on R&D. I don't know which one it was, but he may not be able to afford to res it anymore. He went broke opening that scoring window, and now I've blown open his defenses even wider after a failed scoring attempt.
Click 2 keyhole.
And here I am abusing it. I'm keyholing because I know he can't afford to res anything that he has. And if I can see an agenda, I can keep that momentum going. I don't. I do see a punitive, which I would prefer him not to have.
Three and 4, I will drop the tags.
I am somewhat worried about losing John Masanori.
Here you go.
So I drop the tags.
At least you get about Desperado.
Part of this game is abusing scoring windows, and a part of it is the Corp had pretty poor draws as well. Here we have a bit of a gap between plays, unfortunately. Here comes Action Jackson, savior of keyhole runs. Still looking for the oversight AI, I suspect. I'm sitting on a bit of some cash on hand, so with Corroder that may or may not work. You really have to pull out the oversight AI before the runner can afford it. And this turn is my favorite combo.
3 steps ahead.
3 steps ahead keyhole runs, where I know the Corp can't afford to res ice. 3 steps ahead is really funny because you really want 4 runs, but you can't. You have to settle with 3. It's kind of sad, but with Desperado, you get 2 credits per run and 1 credit for each successful run from Desperado, or 3 per run. 9 credits in total. All in all, a net gain of 8 is pretty good for an econ card, even if it is extremely situational. It can combo with other cards as well, not just Keyhole, other run events. I think it works out pretty well as a card. I do see an agenda, so the Keyhole paid off. I suspect he's running mostly 5/3s and Atlas since he's running punitive. And oh no, the card that he needed. Oversight AI is trashed.
Got it? I think I haven't taken it yet. And I will Dirty Laundry Archives.
Dirty Laundry Archives with 3 steps ahead. That's 5 credits from Dirty Laundry for a net gain of 3, plus 1 from Desperado, +2 from 3 steps ahead. A very profitable no agenda run to archives because of Jackson. uh,
Can I read the
but
text on keyhole real quick? Because that was part of the.
I think 3 steps ahead, it not only does it have Leela printed on it, but I think it really plays well to her playstyle, taking an advantage of when the corp
Book
goes
doesn't
broke.
say
Account
access.
siphon helps, of course.
Does not. It's
Scoring windows help even
right.
more.
But there was a
Scoring windows
part
are
that
expensive.
they're not. They
It's
can't
expensive
access
to res
anything.
ice to protect a server.
Are you talking about either?
Even if you manage to keep the runner out, you often go broke on it.
Doesn't affect keyhole. What's that?
And you can't pull that ice back, even if you're blue sun,
Correct. Every
until the next turn. It leaves you a wide open scoring window, which 3 steps ahead
yes.
plays quite happily with.
And I don't see anything interesting. Surprise, surprise. But I do get a bunch of money. 5 credits. And I then get 6 credits.
So here I get 6 credits at the end of
That
the
was three
turn.
steps ahead.
That's the other downside to 3 steps ahead. You don't get the credits until after, so you can't use it to finance runs, unlike Desperado or Dirty Laundry. But you can combo Desperado and Dirty Laundry with it. So, yay, favorite criminal econ cards. It really adds up.
You got him. You got him. You're good. Card draw curse.
So here I'm sitting on 19 credits after making 3 runs in the previous turn. I'm quite happy with myself, as you can see. I didn't get any agendas, but whatever. Now, what I do know about the game state right now is that he's drawing a lot of cards, but as far as I can tell, he's only ditched the agendas that I've keyholed. So I'm figuring he's running probably around 9 or 10 agendas in all, but he's probably got a couple on HQ. And he's pretty broke.
Deja vu all over again.
I basically got my full rig up now, and I'm sitting on 19 credits, so I'm feeling on top of it.
I thought you had me with the Christian grid off the grid, but. Three will be.
There's no reason for the runner to discard face down, right? When
They can't.
that's face up.
Hedge fund. All right. Hedge fund. There's it. Choices. You ain't got him. You ain't got him. Quick one, Cerberus. Dog deck. Where's the kneecap?
The Cerberus Rex is my favorite criminal breaker at the moment. It really fills in the
Quick
holes,
2. I'm gonna legwork.
and I don't mind not having too much recursion.
Access 3 from HQ.
I'm sitting on a buttload of money. I do a legwork with a full breaker suite.
This is quick what? 2. Successful run. Successful run. I gain a credit and draw a card. And I will access 1, which I will steal. You may have this back.
And here I pull up an agenda in the middle of the access. And it slows down the power of the legwork because there's an additional non-agenda in there, but it's worth it because I've got keyhole available, I think.
That was nice.
So now I got a wide open keyhole. Nothing keeping me out of R&D. The stealing agendas pulling unresed is very powerful, of course, because you get total control over your next run. And that's game.
I have early game ice. Can't do it. Happens. Oh, Hadrian's.
Hadrian's with the corp at 9 credits. Tough place to be. I didn't know that's what it was, but I took advantage of it all the same. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the game. I think this
underestimate
kind
the
of
power
demonstrates the
of
parts of Leela that I
Spargos.
especially like. So,
She
and I
blows
won.
them wide open.
Better than the last game,
Blew me to
for
fucking
me at
no
least.
oversight, none of my other
Um,
game eyes. I had
Thanks
them.
for
I had
watching.
one
I
good
have
combo
3
happen
more to
off the
upload,
grid thing that
so
happened,
hopefully
Calcite
later
and
this week.
but then I couldn't res. I tried to bluff him into it.
Third will.
I just said no res on HQ because I couldn't afford it. But I'm thinking maybe he'll go, no, it's a trap.
I almost account siphoned the first run, but that would have worked out, I guess. Would have had an access too. I might have yanked your ice even. But
Oh well, what you gonna do?
so good.
And there I am rambling about how a
That's
count
my
siphon
payback for
would
you.
have worked, and
You
it
got me
wouldn't
back for
have.
This runner is I
Oh
want
well.
all my oversight hiding in the bottom half, even after all the shuffles. I'm tears. I have tears.
Anyway,
shuffled
thanks.
or I keyholed it.
See you later.
Man, I had 3 keyholes in the first 2 turns.
All right, let's see if this chaos theory thing works.